Let's have a good stretch. All right, guys, we are starting. Go ahead and get to your mat and get yourselves ready for this edition of Yogalates. As always, bare feet is encouraged. Take things slow, listen to my cues, move with your breath. We're going to take a minute to find our breath. Let me scoot my mat back a little bit. It's tough being 6'2" for Zoom meetings. I got to get way back here. Okay. Take a nice wide but comfortable stance, a wide, strong stance in your feet. We're going to find our breath. We're going to start with a nice, soft bend in the knees. Take a big breath in. Reach the arms overhead. Squeeze your glutes and draw the abs tight. Press your feet into the floor. Here we go. Exhale as the arms fall. Inhale. End your breath right as your hands come together. Exhale down. Nice and slow. Inhale up. Reach through the fingers. Exhale down. Reaching higher as we go through things. And I want you to move with your breath. Don't worry about following me exactly. I want you to inhale as you reach up. End your breath right as the hands come together. Exhale as the arms fall and you start bending the knees. Abs tight as we reach, we squeeze the glutes. Press your feet firmly into the floor. Find your rhythm. Find your breath. Exhale as you fall. Inhale, open up, reach through the fingers. Let's do 3 more. And then we're going to build it. 2. 1 more nice big reach up. Keep your legs perfectly straight and trace them down with your hands. Trace your hands down, your legs fold down. Let's take 3 breaths. Should be a nice wide stance. Take the hands as low as you can down your legs. Grab the ankles if you're able to. Gently fold down as deep as you can without bending the knees. Find your sticking point. Let's take our 3 breaths past it. 2 breaths. Gently getting leverage on the shins or ankles as we pull down into our deep fold. 1 more breath. Unroll the spine up 1 vertebrae at a time. Take a big breath in. Bring the arms overhead for another big reach. Abs tight. Squeeze the glutes. Exhale, trace the hands down the legs into your wide-legged fold. 3 breaths. We're going to try to get a little deeper each time. We're going to go through that sequence 1 more time, and then we add to it. Gently pulling the head down and through, grabbing onto the shins or ankles. 1 more breath. Unroll the spine up, nice and slow. Peel up, take a breath in as you bring the arms overhead. Reach through the fingers, draw the abs tight, squeeze your glutes, and our final exhale as we trace the hands down the legs and fold. We are stretching the hamstrings right away, getting the spine warmed up good. 2 more breaths. Keep folding deeper, working through your sticking points. 1 more breath. I want you to bend your knees and take your hands out in front of you as far as you can for a modified wide downward facing dog. Keep your weight on your legs. Stretch your arms out. Dive your head down between your arms as you reach out. Pull your shoulder blades back. Bend the knees as much as you need to get your hands on the floor out in front of you as far as you can. And make sure your weight is on your legs, not on your arms. 3 breaths. Reaching out through the arms. We're all the way on the fingertips, keeping the weight and effort on the legs and feet. Diving the head down, pulling the shoulders back. Stretching the upper back. 1 more breath. Wide, deep sumo fold. Walk the hands through the legs as far as you can. Get all the way back behind you on your fingertips. Gently pull the head down as deep as you can for 3 breaths. Get into the lower back. You can bend the knees as much or as little as you want. If you bend your knees more, you'll open up your hips and start stretching the inner thighs. Keep them a little straighter. Focus on the hamstrings, low back. One more breath. We're going to give the head a break. Bring the hands under the chest before you unroll the spine up, nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time. When you get to the top, we're going to shoulder roll cactus arms. I want you to lift at the ears, pull the elbows back at 90 degrees, open the chest, squeeze your shoulder blades down and back. So we roll, shrug up high as you can, pull the elbows back as far as you can, and then pinch the shoulder blades back and down as you pull the elbows. Here we go. Inhale up, exhale down, shrug forward and up. Pull the elbows back and squeeze the shoulder blades all the way down through the elbows. Keep going. Abs are tight. We're strong in the legs. We're opening the chest as big as you can as you pull the elbows back. Spread the fingers really wide. Cactus arms, pinching the shoulder blades. Together and then all the way down with those elbows. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more big cactus arms. Okay, perfect. You should be already at a nice wide stance. Turn your left toes straight out to your sides. Keep your back foot pivoted. So toes are facing forward on the back foot. Left foot, the toes are pointing straight out to your side. We're going to go right into a triangle. Move through your hips. Make sure you feel really strong in your legs so you can move through your hips like so. Take your left hand down, that lead front left leg nice and slow, and reach up as you do so. Stretch the hamstrings, maybe even in the adductors, those toes out. Take your hand as low as you can. You can stay up here on the shin, reach up and behind you. Remember that imaginary wall is behind you. Maintaining flat against that imaginary wall. Trace the hand down. If you can go all the way to the floor, go all the way to the floor into the full triangle. 3 breaths wherever you are. Reaching up through the fingers. Palm is forward, facing the same direction you're looking. If you can, turn your head and look up that top right arm as it reaches to the sky. 2 more breaths. Make sure the knees stay straight. Let's give it 1 more breath. Now, if you don't have your left hand on the ground, I want you to bend that left knee so you can take your right hand to the floor. If you need to bend the left knee, go to modified triangle. On your breath, bring your left arm up for reverse triangle. Rotate to your left. Triangle sequence. 3 breaths. Follow the same steps. And again, right hand is on the floor. We're twisting up to the left. Left arm's in the air. And that front left knee can be bent as much as you need. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath in our reverse triangle or modified reverse triangle. Bring the left hand back down to join your right. Walk your hands under your chest. So we just had that left leg leading where we stretch the hamstrings a lot. Now we're going to bend the right knee and keep the left leg straight and go right into a lateral low lunge pose for 3 breaths. Keep your feet flat, especially the left foot. Think about reaching through your left toes as you drop your hips down. 3 breaths, big adductor stretch. You'll be getting a really good stretch on the inner left thigh. Make sure you're still in a really nice wide stance with the feet. Bend the right knee more and more on your exhales. 2 more. Open those hips up, stretch those left adductors. 1 more breath. Push back to the center, tabletop. Unroll the spine up, 1 vertebrae at a time, always. When you get to the top, turn your right toes out, opposite side for our triangle sequence. Here's how we start. Trace the hand down your right leg, reaching up to the sky. Push your back flat against the imaginary wall behind you as you trace down. Take it as low as you can. If you can go all the way to the floor, take the hand to the floor without bending the knee. 3 breaths. Very careful, very strong pose. A lot of core effort, stability needed, a lot of balance as we stretch the hamstrings. Getting good movement in the hips and low back. 1 more breath in our triangle, whatever position you're in. And again, if you need to bend your right knee, you bend it to take the top left hand down, or keep it straight if you have that kind of mobility. And on your breath, bring the right arm up. Reach behind you. Find that sticking point. Let's take 3 breaths past it. Oh, I'm tight today. I can usually get nice and flat on this side. Take things slow. As I always say, every day is different. Listen to your body each day. Listen to each side of your body each day. Nobody is symmetrical. 2 breaths. One more breath, reaching up and back. Take the right hand down to join your left again. Walk them under your chest. Turn both sets of toes forward. Now bend your left knee to go into lateral low lunge pose, stretching the right leg, inner thigh of the right leg. Keep your right foot flat. Reach out through those right toes as you bend your left knee. Let your hips drop down. 2 breaths. We're going to take it down to the floor after this. Make sure when we're down on the ground that your monitor's in a position where you can look over and see me as easily as possible. 1 more breath. Push back to the center. Unroll your spine up 1 vertebrae at a time. Peel the back up. Step to one back edge of your mat, whichever side you can see me best. Go ahead and just kneel down 1 knee at a time. I always encourage you guys, if you're on a hard surface floor, to have a thick mat or to have several mats layered when we're on the knees. We don't want to kneel down on hard surfaces. Sink back into child's pose. Get your feet as flat as you can. Push your butt back as deep onto your feet as you can. And without losing that position, lower yourself down. Stretch your arms out in front of you. And let's take 3 breaths on the first one. Get as deep into your mat as you can. As deep onto your feet as you can. Really push those hips back. Stretch the top of the feet and ankles. Low back. 2 breaths. One more breath. We're going to start with a classic thread the needle pose today. Starting in our table pose, we do a lot of sequences from table pose. We're going to be on the knees for a little bit, making sure you're comfortable. Let's put the right hand slightly forward from the shoulder. Make sure your knees are right under your hips. 90 degrees at the hips, 90 degrees at the knees. Take your left hand and thread it through under your chest with the palm up as far as you can, and then push your chest down. Reach your right arm out in front of you as far as you can with your palm down. Reach through your left arm under the chest as far as you can across with the palm up, and then push your body weight down on top of your left arm and shoulder. And then just turn and look over your left shoulder. That will take you a little deeper in the stretch. You should be getting a really good stretch in the back of your left shoulder blade into your mid and upper back. 3 breaths. Keep trying to sink deeper, keep reaching through those left fingers, the palm up. Twist and look over the left shoulder. Feel that stretch right behind the left shoulder into the shoulder blade and mid-upper back. Last breath, we'll go right to the other side. Unthread the left hand and put it out in front of you. Make sure your knees are still under your hips. Thread the right arm across. Follow the exact same steps on the other side. Right arm. Find that sticking point. Sink down as deep into it as you can. And take your 3 breaths past it. 2 breaths. Let's give it 1 more breath. Okay, come back to table pose. We're going to take it up just a notch. We're starting to get really warmed up. Whew, I'm actually sweating today. It's pretty hot in here. Scorpion kicks. We're going to go into a scorpion pose, but we're going to keep it moving. We're going to make it a little more dynamic. Bring your right leg. Make sure you have room to your sides. Don't knock the lamp over. Keep your knees slightly bent. Bring the right leg up and point your toes. So soft bend in the knee, pointing the toes of the right leg. We're going to reach around and up towards our left arm. Squeeze your backside and reach and point the toes to the point where you feel a nice little stretch in the front of your hip and thigh of that right leg as we squeeze the back of the hip, the glutes. Then we're going to wrap back in. Exhale. Inhale, left leg, scorpion pose. Reach, reach, reach. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, back down to table pose with control. Inhale, right leg up. We are getting the hips moving. Low back. Keep trying to reach further. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, down to table pose. Squeeze the abs in. Inhale, up. Left leg coming around. Scorpion pose. Reach, squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, down. Draw the abs in tight. Inhale, right leg, scorpion kick. Reaching further, point the toes, squeeze the backside. 3, 2, 1. Down to table pose on your breath. Left leg coming up. Stay as fluid as you can. Remember, precision, fluid, precise movements. Let's do 1 more each side. Back to table pose. Draw the abs tight on your breath. Right leg coming across. 3, 2, 1 more time. Back to table pose. Left leg on your breath. Last scorpion kick. 3, 2, 1. Come back into table pose. Let's give the wrists a break. Modified downward facing dog. Stretch your arms out in front of you as far as you can. Wider than the shoulders, keeping the knees under the hips. Turn your head to one direction. Look to one side. And dive your head, chest down as low as you can into the mat as you reach out through your arms. Get all the way out on those fingertips. 3 breaths. Pull your shoulder blades back, pushing your chest and head down as close to the mat as you can. Good stretch in the chest and upper back. 2 more breaths. If you want, you can turn your head to the other direction just to get your neck moving and get it out of the same position for too long. 1 more breath. And let's just draw back to child's pose. Go ahead, just drag the arms and sink all the way back into our recovery position. The back's happy place. Let's restore. Let's recharge. Let's focus on breath for a minute. 3 deep recovery belly breaths. All the way in and all the way out. Always trying to sink deeper into your mat with every breath. One last breath. We're going to double heel press today. Strong pose. basically a plank or a modified down dog type position. Come into full prone plank position. Have your feet pretty close together. Hip width, if not closer than hip width. Full plank position. I want you to just push through your arms, keeping the legs perfectly straight. Start to dive your head and chest down towards your knees and press your heels back into the floor until you find your 8 of discomfort. Let's take 3 breaths. We're going to push the head down towards the knees, keeping them as straight as you can. A very tiny soft bend in the knee is okay. Try to keep them straight. Press your heels back as you push your head and chest down towards the floor, or excuse me, towards your knees. 2 breaths. So we get a really big stretch all in the back of the ankles and up into the calves and maybe even into the lower hamstrings if you're diving your head down enough. 1 more breath. Flatten your back out, come back forward. Slowly draw your right leg under to pigeon. Let your hips sink down. Pigeon pose. Cross the right leg under your body. Slide your left leg back straight. Don't roll to your side. Stay center. Relax down. Make sure you're getting a good stretch on the back side of that right hip, piriformis and glutes. The right leg crossed under. Take a couple breaths. And remember, the more parallel your shin bone is to the top edge of your mat, the bigger and the quicker stretch you're going to get. So pull that foot up higher if you need more of a stretch. Slide your back left leg straighter and straighter, flatter and flatter to get more of a stretch. If you're getting up too much of a stretch and you're way up here on the hands and you're having a hard time sink your hips down, you just need to pull that foot in a little bit closer. Last breath. We're going to transition right to the other side. If you're folded into your mat, take the hands under the shoulders, bring the back left knee off the floor, step the right leg back to full prone plank position. Cross the left leg under slowly for pigeon. Slide back. Sink down slowly. Take 3 breaths past your sticking point. We're going to get off the knees after this. I've not checked the time, but if I had to bet, we're probably closer than I realize. These half hours go fast. Take 1 or 2 more breaths. Again, make sure you're feeling the stretch on the back side of your left hip, the glutes and piriformis muscles of that left leg crossed under. Play around with these stretches, especially one like pigeon. It's a little bit of a tougher stretch. Get familiar with it, practice it. It's a really good stretch, and it's a really important area to stretch the back of the hips. Bring yourself up and just roll to your side so you're on your butt and swing your legs out in front of you. Any way you can make that transition is fine. Modified boat pose to forward spine stretch. This is where a lot of the mat Pilates mixes in with our yoga poses and our stretches. They go together really well. We can actively stretch. Sit up really tall, reach the crown of your head to the sky, lock your knees, fully extend the knees, and if you want a bonus, flex your toes towards you. Keep your arms straight out from your shoulders with your palms down. Take a breath in, and I want you to roll back as much as you can without the feet lifting and without you laying down. So whatever your abs can tolerate. 3 breaths. Reaching through the fingers as we lean back, keeping the feet down, keeping the knees locked, keeping the head tall. 1 more big breath in. And on your exhale, forward spine stretch. Reach out through the arms towards the feet as you fold down into your legs. Push your head and chest down into the legs as you reach forward through the fingers and arms without bending the knees. 3 breaths. sinking deeper into the legs with each exhale. You can see why they call it forward spine stretch. Look at the nice big curve in the back. We're really stretching the back out, the spine, as well as the hamstrings. One more breath. Peel yourself back one vertebrae at a time so you're sitting up tall. We're going to do a seated single straight leg hip twist. Instead of saying all that, I call it a sprinkler. Bring your right leg up, sprinkler stretch. Bring your right leg off the ground. Take your left hand to the outside of your right calf, as low as you can grab. So left hand is just grabbing right on the outside of the right calf. Sit up tall, take your right hand, twist to your right and reach behind you as you push or anchor that right leg over to the left. So as we pull the leg over to the left, we're twisting and reaching behind you to the right. Turn and look down your right arm. 3 breaths. Big stretch. IT band, lateral, bicep femoris, hamstring, head to the outer backside of the knee. Make sure that leg is straight. If you need to be down here more, that's okay. The higher up your leg is, the bigger the stretch you're going to get. 2 breaths. One more breath, twisting, pushing that leg over. Come to the center, let that right leg come down. I'm sure your quads and hip flexors are starting to get tired. Bring the left leg up, high as you can, keeping the knee perfectly straight. Lock on and grab to the outer left side of your calf, as low as you can grab. On your breath, twist and reach behind you to the left as you push and counter that left leg over to the right. Find your sticking point. 3 breaths past it. Let's do one more breath. Oh, good. Come back to the center and let's take it to butterfly. Put the bottoms of your feet together. Don't pull them in too close to your body though. Put the bottoms of your feet together, but keep them fairly far away from you today. Grab your toes, push your knees out as wide as you can. Gently pull yourself down towards your feet, head, chest towards the feet, pushing the knees out as wide as you can. 3 breaths. Stretching the inner thighs and inner hips again. Sink down inch by inch on your exhales carefully through those sticking points. One more breath. Peel yourself up slowly. Make sure you have room behind you. Roll back or go to your side. Any way you can get flat. 1 vertebrae at a time. We roll back or go to your side if you know your back doesn't like it. Let's decompress. I love going into good morning after we've been standing or seated. Let's decompress, open up the body and stretch everything out away from the trunk and spine. Get as long and as flat as you can, reaching back through the fingers, reaching down through the toes. 2 more breaths. Keep trying to get longer. Abs are tight. We're pulling down through the toes. We're reaching back through the fingers. 1 more breath. Go to cradle pose. Take the knees into the chest 1 at a time. Push your chest into your knees. Wrap your arms around your legs and hug them down as firmly as you can. Turn yourself into the smallest little ball you can make. Squeeze your abs in. 3 breaths. Keep trying to get smaller. Tuck your chin as you pull the knees in and push your chest forward to your knees. 1 more breath, squeezing, getting as small as you can. Relax your head and extend your legs down straight 1 at a time so that your toes are plopped out, heels are in. Relax your arms to your sides with your palms up, wherever's the most comfortable, and close your eyes. We're going to go right into our corpse pose, the Shavasana practice, which is all about breath. Let's take 5 of the longest, deepest belly breaths you can. Get as much oxygen in your body as you can. Starting now. 5. Big deep breaths in. And all the way out. 4 more. Here we go. Long, deep belly breaths. 3. 2 more. Every bit of air in and out. 1 more. Big, long, deep belly breath all the way in and all the way out. Once you let all that air out, bring your arms behind you. 1 more time. Bring your feet a little bit off the floor if your back's okay with it. Otherwise, keep them down. Reach back through the arms. Reach down through your toes with the feet up a little bit or down. Take a big breath. Just start waking your body back up. Let your feet come down when you're ready. Open your eyes. Roll up or sit up any way you like. And I think that's where we're going to have to end things for today, guys. Thanks for joining me as always. Stretching, so important. I hope you feel better. That's always the goal. Get things adjusted and moving. That fascia tissue fluid. Let me pause our